Welcome back to Tools and Track. This is the Dannykart build. A few weeks ago, my friend Danny asked me to fix his car for him because this engine was making a strange ticking noise. I've since then project creeped this all the way to adapting the car so that Danny, a tetraplegic, is going to be able to drive it completely with the use of his mind. This is a bit of an adventurous thing. Since we've got the car down, we've found many problems that we've rectified, and we're finally now at the stage of putting in the things that I've come up with that will allow him to drive it. Granted, I'll still try and get the engine to start, which we're hopefully going to do in this episode. So, like, bell and subscribe, and let's build some stuff. Let me fill you in on where we're at so far. This is the bracket, as you can see, blinding in its simplicity. It takes on the 4 bolts here, drops this down, there's 4 bolts through that. This 3D printed holder is courtesy of our Daniel, who has done a stellar job making that robust. Now, that is going to go to here, servo curves that way, pedal gets pulled that way. The problem we have is the pedal itself. You will note this is a pressed steel arrangement with a really weedy looking pin that goes through here, and then there's this gumph, right, which I don't really know how to describe other than kit car-esque basically. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop this sliding pin out because I need to rework all of this, and we're going to rework that as well because it's terrible. And our adaptation bracket is going to go on here. Not fully disclosing how yet, but you'll see in a wee second. So step 1, remove. Accelerator pedal. Now, I've been trying to do less shitting on somebody else's car because, well, it's not their fault, but this is getting a special exemption. What's wrong with this pedal? For a start, it's Ford derived, so it's pressed steel, which means it's flex. And then you've got the pin here. I thought it was going to be a wee circlip that popped out and the pin pulls out. Nah. This is an integral part of this bracket, and it's like hammer press fit, so take it out and it's dead. So I had to take the whole bracket, which is fine, but it means that there's so much slop involved in that pin, it's not really a great deal I can do about that. And then you get to the kit car builder crimes. So there's a stop here in the top, which is just a great long bolt that slams against there and activates against the spring that puts the pedal in position, and then obviously you pull the pedal and that comes away, which is a bit simple, but it works. Unfortunately, it's going to be completely in the way for anything that we're doing, so we're going to revise that. Then you've got the adaptation. So originally up here, there's a wee ball socket type arrangement, which would have taken the original EFI throttle cable. That's now dormant. And then we have this plate, which is crudely bolted onto the steel. And I was like, oh, why does that look familiar? There's something about that plate, I don't know what it is. Yeah, it's a brake drum shoe adjuster plate type thing. So solution number 1, which is undo the crimes before we think about any of our own adaptation, is I'm going to remove these 2 bolts. I'm going to weld this on. We're going to remove Stumpy Boy in the top because he's not doing much. When this plate's welded onto this, we'll tidy it up, and this top section here, whilst it may be adding some degree of strength, is completely in the way, so we're going to lock that off too. And then we get into the genius, which is my idea. Right, that's definitely better. You can see here I've also ground this little bit of weld down a bit, and that's all part of my cunning plan. Now that we have a solid and more professional looking solution, I can start adapting how this fancy new bracket's going to work. and it's actually quite ingenious. Now I came up with this design in actual fact for the brake pedal because I know that the brake pedal has to be able to be overrideable and not affected by whatever the servo's doing to it because it's a safety thing. But knowing now that the servo will actually stop the accelerator pedal from moving to begin with, never mind me overruling a brake pedal to finish with, I'm going to apply the same logic. It's going to look like this. Consider this, our throttle cable. This is the point that it pivots on, we push it that way, this guy moves that way. My original plan was to attach the servo to the top. When the servo actuates, it pulls this, works the throttle for us. Except when it's not powered on, it's going to be locked. So how do we avoid this? Well, we just use the same pivot point and we add something behind it that's going to catch the back of this pedal and activate it. The beauty with this, if I push the pedal, there's nothing that actually activates on this new bracket. It basically seesaws in fresh air and this whole thing will move independent. However, when the servo activates, it'll pull it regardless of what my foot does. It's a one-way valve for a pedal. The problem I'm going to have though is this little pin is completely fused. It's not something you can easily remove to do rework on. So I've had a wee think and I've looked at some of the previous butchery that's going on with the accelerator pedal. Did anyone notice the hole here? We're just going to put the same little pedal extension thing in there. What's going to happen is when the pedal gets activated by me, it's going to actually bend in a different way and just pivot down, but still work completely independently and be free to move. And it doesn't matter whether that's further up or not because the same pivot point exists down here. It's just acting as an extension of the pedal. This might get quite confusing, but trust me, this will work if I can make it work. So that's what we're going to design. Design, fabricate. Right, it's the moment of truth. Has this harebrained scheme, which is now numerous episodes down the line, is it going to work? So we've got our fancy new bracket and the servo, and forgive the crudeness of this very, very hilly-billy setup, but I've just put the whole test rig up here because it's easier than ripping this all off, but I've swapped it back to forward, so we've still got the accelerator cable here, but we'll call that brake, right? The other servo is now the accelerator. It actually doesn't matter at this point. So let's power all this up, and the good news, we're going to use the battery from this to actually power up the servos as well, so we'll test that, make sure it works. It's just a case of now flicking a switch and crossing a finger. Hopefully, when I press this lever, it's going to go. Right, so that works. We also still have normal pedal with the servo just sitting in dead space, working the thing. So it's going to need refined. There's some looseness involved here, which you can kind of work around, and that might actually just be rev one of this bracket and we might 3D print a better solution if I've got confidence that a 3D printed one will work. But it works, that's the main thing. So I think we need to start thinking about brakes next. Okay. That is a success for an accelerator pedal. Huge victory. We've got that working. I have discovered a few problems though. All of this test nonsense is nonsense. It's kind of just splayed around the car. And I actually have had one situation already where the voltage converter that goes down to 7.5 volts for the servos managed to earth out because the entire chassis is an earth point. We're going to have to consider putting this into some form of case very, very soon if we are going to keep up this diagnostic work. Now, I did say we're going to look at the brakes next, but as luck would have it, nearly a week later, we have a delivery of parts. Want to see this throttle cable work on an engine that runs? How do you solve a non-spark issue on a car that you have no idea the history of? You replace absolutely everything. New HT leads, new distributor cap, new distributor arm, new points and Hall effect sensor, and the new coil. Now, I grant you I've not actually got spark plugs on this list because they still haven't arrived, but at the very least, this should make a spark. Good spark.
Check that front one because it's not. The rest of them are trying to suck your hand in, that's doing nothing.
So what's going on?
We are down a cylinder.
If you put your hand over, it should essentially try and suck your hand into the car.
Yep.
And that one's doing essentially nothing, which means there's probably almost no compression in that front cylinder.
What could cause that?
The worst things.
The worst.
The worst of the options.
The worst things, yeah.
Nothing good causes a loss of compression.
Sounds fine, doesn't sound that bad.
So with that, you're listening for a because basically you're running through a very slow cycle of all the compressions. So if it's a consistent note, all four are compressing at their same rate.
Yeah.
But if you get it spinning and it goes, that means one of them's got having to do no work when it's compressing.
Correct.
Because we weren't having enough fun, let's do compression testing on this as well. But it runs, and it doesn't make that ticking noise, so that's definitely progress.
Not bad.
For a Pinto, I'll take 115.
It's not the worst.
It's got enough to make bloody bang bangs. So
See, to be honest, I would just roll it outside then, and so you can actually so that
Bomb it?
No, just so it doesn't smoke the place out, so you can.
Can we do
You want to double check the fuel first, just in case it's running dry.
Can you put the cam cover on properly?
Danny, what do you think you should do before it runs out of oil?
Maybe fit the cam cover properly.
Fit the what properly?
Fit the cam cover
Fit the cam cover.
Why does this not? Why doesn't this do it?
Any comment?
The third time. The third time of absolutely doing it the way I meant to do it.
Are you though?
Do you want to do better?
Well,
No.
You've already covered it in oil, so we're past the point of doing it properly. Just glue it on first, it'll be fine.
But the whole point of me not doing that is because I made a very big deal about finding a lot of goop in it the first time. I'm like, you should be doing it.
No, but I'm not saying you shouldn't goop it, but you just put a wee dod, a
Super glue.
and glue it on, and then.
I can't do it now because it's covered in oil.
Yes, I'm saying. You're past that point now. Like off.
Oh Christ! Okay, I'll do the thing.
Like the undoing the bolts and you just gonna have to take it off.
Well, we're just. Is there nothing to be said? for
You know
just a wee
exactly
nip?
what you're doing though, because you've done it 3 times now. So
It's not.
Is there nothing to be said for just another little nip?
No.
Ah.
You're gonna crush it more.
Let's just check, right? Let's just. Is it tight? No.
Yeah, but what are you tightening against? Nothing. It's not even in the right place.
Shh. Look, it just needs to be a little bit more compression.
Just pushing it in to the. Is it there?
Yeah. I can move it by hand.
Yeah, so that means it's probably not located in the right
No, but I
place.
mean, how does it locate in the right place? If you tighten this down. Right, I'm going to just roll the dice in this again, right? Oh no, because I can still feel it moving.
It's not going to work.
Well, what am I meant to do?
Put it on the right. Put it in the
I've
right
put
place.
it's sitting where it needs to be. It's sitting where it needs to be.
It's definitely not. It's definitely not because there's oil leaking out.
Fucking hell. I know I understand
It
that
can't-
I get that there's oil leaking
It
out,
can't
but
be
I
any
can't
more.
put it in any more places.
It can't be any more in the wrong place if there's oil pouring out.
Okay.
To put the gasket in the right place.
Yeah, okay, let's try that. Because, like, I've clearly not tried that twice already.
The first time, obviously, you did not succeed.
This still doesn't, by the way, resolve the reason why it's going blip, 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 blip.
Well, yeah. All we're doing is putting a quarter gasket on a cam cover.
I'm not the one making a big deal about this, darling.
I've done this in like 10 minutes and I'm trying it.
Yeah, that was a triumph. This is a fault.
Yeah.
There are massive differences here.
Yeah. The operator. The person that changed it.
Well,
See if you fail once or twice, just try again. Third time lucky.
yeah, but what are we changing in this process?
Putting it in the correct place.
But there's no correct place to put it.
That's all we're doing.
It's not, no,
all we're doing
but
here
that
is
doesn't
putting
work
it in the correct place.
because I
That's all
put
we're
it in the correct place.
That's if you.
and it makes no difference.
You've probably chopped it in half now.
Like, what is that? That's the way it comes from the packet.
What? Broken in half?
Yes, and by the way, for f***ing context, nothing's been leaking from there. It's been everywhere else.
Yeah. So if you super glued it on.
Crimes, more crimes.
Democracy manifest.
So what is the problem?
The problem is, you tighten it down here, you tighten it down here, and see in the middle, all grips.
Yeah, but the cam cover should hold that.
Yeah, but it f***ing doesn't. Well, we consult the online market and find a better gasket.
Well, even just the right one.
Or conversely, how much silicon do we have in a tube? No,
What's the problem right now, Tommy?
Daniel's the problem. Right?
Daniel. Other than Daniel.
Daniel and his constant.
Daniel is the foundation of all problems.
Daniel's
but what is
constant need to be f***ing right, and
No.
ultimately achieving that to my complete and utter irritants.
All I said was, is it the right gasket?
Of course, it's not the right gasket, because the right gasket would mean it would seal. But every other part was right. Back to eBay.
That'll explain why it doesn't fit.
Oh, shut up. Right, I've put the lid on. I've had enough. I can't be bothered with this anymore. It's just continuing problems, and like, this is my car, so I'm going to just put it in a trailer and send it back to Danny. Psych! Obviously not. I need to wait now a few days because we need to get the correct cam cover gasket. The problem is this thing just keeps evacuating oil quicker than I can get the engine problems dialed out, and I don't want to biff the engine doing something daft like that. There does seem to be a difference between early and late Pintos, and I've obviously got the early gasket and I need the later one. So whilst I wait, we're going to go and have a wee think about how we improve the automation in this car. In the next episode, we're going to get into the brakes because that's going to be a crucial part on the next phase of this, and it's going to take a bit more thought than the accelerator did, so I need time for the grey matter to cook up. Until then, patreon.com/toolsandtrack is how we're supporting all of this, so if you want to be awesome, like all the people running up the side of the screen right now, go have a look at that and see what you can do. As I've said, it's helping fund this entire project, so anything you can help with would be amazing. If that's not for you, I get it, times are tough. Like, bell and subscribe, because that also helps the channel as well. And until next weekend, guys, drive safe. A bit more likeable and a bit more approachable.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
A bit softer in some
Yeah,
ways.
softer. More approachable, I like that. I like the more approachable thing.
Giving me acting notes for Great. Stand here and tell me about all the things you think I should do in Tools and Track.
I don't know what to do with my hand.